个特殊的形式
city
是
of Shanghai.
和政策呢，它是也是有阶段性的。
像现在我们的孩子去了美国，
My friends met in Shanghai and married in China.
Because what is in the need of Israel is in the capability of China, and what is the need.
You mentioned that when you grew up in Tianjin, there was a period of Japanese occupation. So,
Yes, sir.
so what was life like during that period of time?
Look, up to 1941, although the Japanese were already in China, since Tianjin had concessions, the people who lived in the English and French concessions did not have any contact with the Japanese. The Japanese were blockaded the concessions, but they were not inside the concession. Only in 1941, in December of 1941, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and declared war on the European countries, did they occupy also the British and French concessions, and we felt more of the Japanese occupation at that time. However, while the Chinese people were not treated too well, the treatment of the Jews in Tianjin, and I'm talking about Tianjin, I don't know about other places, was not difficult. We continued to live our life. We continued to do our thing. We continued to go to school. We continued to enjoy life. There was no serious lack of food. There was no serious lack of products. Yes, there were some things missing, but that was only a minor issue. And there was not too much intervention by the Japanese in our life. We couldn't hear radio. We had no shortwave. We didn't have any news. But this was minimum hardship. There were no real hardship in Tianjin for the Jewish people during the war. Well, I lived in Tianjin. I left Tianjin in 1947. I am the first Jew from China with my friend, Mr. Marinsky, who is not alive anymore, to leave China for Israel. I came to Israel before the state. And so I certainly remember my life in China. I was 17, 18 years old. I remember very well. I remember the end of the war. I remember the American Marine Corps that was stationed in China. I had some Chinese friends, but I didn't meet them after I came back to China. I worked in China for 10 years, from 1995 till about 2-3 years ago. And I traveled to Tianjin many times, so I still know Tianjin. I was in Tianjin 6 or 7 months ago. I saw Tianjin expanding from 2 million people when I lived there to 12 million people that is today. So I remember very well my life in China. I remember eating Chinese food, obli baozi, lazati, and other good Chinese food, tenminguoza, xiaobingguoza. And so I remember playing. We used to have sports. We used to have events. So I do remember my life in China. Of course, it was part of my youth. How can one forget it?
So, Sam, do you want to say any final words to the Chinese people?
I am a normal businessman. I'm an engineer actually by profession. And I hope that the relationship between China and Israel will continue being very strong. I have a lot of gratitude to the Chinese people for receiving and so many Jews during their difficult period. And the Jewish people in China were always well treated and had a good relationship with the Chinese people. And I would very much like that this relationship and this friendship between our two great nations will continue. And so I say, 再见，老乡。